life is resilient to whatever we throw at it. And that's a message I'd really like to get across, that life is abundant, we're changing the life forms, we're not destroying life, we're just changing its form. So I get quite dismayed with the rhetoric that sometimes is spread around about we've got 21 days to save the world. No, we don't. The world will do fine without us. The world will do fine 21 days, 22 days later. We'll be screwed in one way or another. Perhaps we ought to understand is that life changes anyway. Just look at this beach now compared to what it was like yesterday and what it was like last year and 10 years' time. Life is changeable, but we have to minimise our impact in the immediate here and now. And we're not very good at that. We're not very good at taking the moment. You know, we're always thinking about tomorrow, or next year, or yesterday, or, oh, what are my friends doing? That's why I like people to come here, because you can just sit here and do nothing and appreciate the here and now, because honestly, that's your life.
ขยะก่อนโควิดจะเยอะมากเพราะว่าแขกมาเยอะแล้วก็แขกก็บางคนเขาก็ถือน้ำถือขนมอะไรติดเรือมาเขากินกันแล้วก็ขยะเราก็มีทำให้นะถังขยะแต่ทีนี้แขกกินพูดยากหน่อยนึงก็กินแล้วก็ทิ้งเลย
ช่วงนี้ถ้าว่าอย่างพลาสติกลอยตามทะเลเนี่ยเราจะไม่ค่อยเห็นเท่าไหร่นอกจากเวลาน้ำกันแต่ส่วนมากแล้วดร.จะเก็บบนหาดทั้งหมดเยอะมากบางครั้ง 40-50 ถุง
So yeah, Project Koh Sak is just a way for us, really, to bring people to the island and entice them into believing in what we're trying to offer, which is a way out of this status quo of destruction. Generally, I ask my students, well, what products do you use back home that you see here on the beach? Because when you look, what do you see? What's the number one bit of plastic you see? Yeah, bags, right? With this bag, it's going to fill up with sand. Because it's in a plastic bag, that sand will turn black. And it turns black and very smelly because it doesn't have oxygen. Because there's organic material in that sand, and bacteria will eat that organic material, eating and consuming the oxygen. So the oxygen disappears and that organic matter will still decompose, but in a different way. And that's when it begins to get smelly. And that smelly gas that's released is actually poisonous. So nothing can live in that sand that's in that plastic bag. So we have to be very careful with our use of plastic bags because they will escape and they will generate these dead zones. And the more plastic bags and plastic bottles that we have out here in the environment, the more dead zones we generate, which means less opportunity for life. And also what is very worrying is these things. These are, the cotton buds. You clean your ears with them. And what it often indicates is that this beach receives sewage because people typically throw it down the toilet, flush the toilet, and it goes through the sewerage system, and because it's plastic it will float and then not be filtered or sieved and just make its way into the ocean and then eventually onto this beach. We just toss all of this plastic aside without really thinking about the consequences and where it's going to end up. But what we're also finding more and more of is attempts to get rid of the plastic by burning it. Here we go. Brilliant. Look at this. This is all plastic that's melted, burned, semi-burned, and then fused all the sand and the stones. And now we're generating new kind of rock. But also on this beach, we found lots of nurdles. And the nurdles are the pre-production plastic resin pellets that are melted and then formed into all the plastic products that we consume. So that's got nothing to do with tourism. It generates that ecological problem because it breaks down and becomes consumed by life. And that's what we're trying to do here. We make people aware of the fact that it's up to us, that we're all complicit in this problem, and to start blaming other people is just denying fact. And the quicker people realise that we are all part of the problem, the quicker we can all become part of the solution.
I think some things are going to be things to put on, some things are going to be things that become the base that things are put on. This is stuff that's been collected from a beach near Pattaya Bay. So we've got a bag full of plastic spoons and forks, a fire engine. And the idea is we need to sort these in so that we've got obvious things that we can then choose to then make into something else.